Welcome back to another episode of the Upper Cumberland Lifestyle Show. We have changed our name. It's a new year, new us. Everything has changed. We are growing. And today I have here with me somebody who is part of that, Melissa Ellis.
Hey.
Thank you so much for being here. Melissa is one of our new publishers. We are expanding. We have started magazines. Last year we started a magazine in Sparta and Livingston, and Melissa is starting one in Crossville in the spring in just a few months. So that is going to be amazing. Crossville definitely needs something.
Yes, they do.
Like that. They're ready for it.
And they're excited about it. Everyone I've spoken to is very excited about it.
Well, I'm so thrilled, and you're the perfect person for it. But I want to go back and introduce you guys to Melissa a little bit. So your background is in music.
Yes.
So you were born in Illinois. You're not a Tennessee-raised girl, but you landed in Tennessee when you were a teenager, correct?
I lived my young childhood in Murfreesboro and then in Crossville as a teenager and on.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So Tennessee's kind of, oldest memory home.
It's home.
And then you became a musician at what age?
Oh, my goodness. The first time I sang a solo was, like many musicians, in church, and I was 18 months old.
Okay.
Yeah. I could sing better than I could talk. But I started taking piano at 12, and then I picked up guitar. I got my first professional job at 15.
Oh, wow.
And that was working at the Cumberland County Playhouse.
Oh, my gosh. And that's a Crossville staple.
Mm-hmm.
Full
Sure
circle.
Is. Oh, yeah.
Moment. So what was your job at the Cumberland County Playhouse?
To play pretend. No, I was singing and acting and dancing.
Oh, so you were acting?
I was on contract. Yes.
Okay, productions.
Yes.
Okay, wow. Do you remember what productions you were in?
I started with, the high school production, which I think was a 50s and 60s review show.
Okay.
And then that summer I did Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
And I was, ensemble, and I was a volunteer cast, but two of the girls had to bail because they had to go back to school. Mm-hmm. And so they approached me and was like, hey, can you do the dance part? Can you do the singing part? Can you do this? I'm like, sure, I'll try anything. And so that's kind of how I got started. And then the following year, they decided to open a show called Smoke on the Mountain, which they ran forever. And I got one of the casts. So it was a bluegrass gospel musical. And
so was that your first step into bluegrass?
I guess it kind of was, as far as me actually playing. I mean, I'd heard it before, and most of the music that was in the show I grew up with in church. So, that's how I learned how to play so many different instruments.
Wow. So through that time when you were at the Cumberland County Playhouse, you were a teenager.
Yes.
Correct? Mm-hmm. And so then did you know at that moment that's what you wanted to pursue as an adult?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I remember graduating, and on my cap it said Broadway or bust.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So did you move to New York?
I did not. I got accepted to the American Music and Dramatic Academy, and Jim Crabtree, who has recently passed, who was the producing director at the Cumberland County Playhouse, talked me out of going because he wanted me to go to a 4-year university. Mm-hmm. And so I went to Roane State to stay and work a little bit at the Playhouse, and then I transferred to Tennessee Tech, got tired of Tennessee Tech, and decided I was going to go to AMDA this time. I'm definitely going. I got accepted again, and he talked me out of it again.
Oh my
and I finished
goodness.
Tech. So, yeah.
So what did you get a degree in tech?
Music therapy.
Okay.
It's not there anymore.
See, but that is a good little thing to have in your back pocket.
Yeah.
If you ever needed it, you know?
But while I was at Tech, I decided I didn't want to do theater anymore, and I just wanted to focus on music.
Okay. Well, theater, I lived in New York City for a little while, and I remember vividly walking past a audition of people auditioning for like a Broadway play or something, and it was insane. There was like 1,000 people, so maybe it was a good thing. I don't know.
It gets wild. I mean, I toured a little bit, so I did my audition thing, and it was exhausting.
Yes, and I was in the music industry on the business side, and I know how hard that is too, because you eventually pursued that, correct?
I did.
So you went to college. During college, did you gig around?
I did. I gigged around in Nashville, and I did that for about 2 years before I realized that, and I know a lot of people don't believe musicians feel this way, but I didn't want to be famous.
Yeah.
And it was a constant grind. Like, it's a hustle. You were getting booked at like maybe 2 or 3 different bars in a day. And in between those times, I mean, either you're running to the next gig or you're networking with other people. And I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I was as extroverted for that as I wanted. And I didn't want to do country music, to be honest.
Yeah, and in Nashville, there is a really big underground scene now that's not country, but it's really, in the business side of it, it is country to its core. Were you at the honky tonks? Were you singing country?
I did stuff at the Wild Horse Saloon, and I did stuff down Printer's Alley and those kind of things. So,
oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I did it for 2 years, and I was like, I don't want to be famous.
Yeah.
I just want to play music. I just want to get that creative side out.
And so did you come back to Crossville at that point? And
I came back to Crossville for a short time. Then I went down to Chattanooga, and then I went up to Clarksville, and then I ended up in Knoxville. And during those times, I kind of dabbled a little bit more in like jazz and blues. In Knoxville, they had a massive bluegrass and Americana scene going at the time. And so while I was over in East Tennessee, I dipped my toes in that for a bit. And then when I came back to Crossville, I was like, oh, forget it. I want to do jazz. So.
Oh, wow. So how many instruments do you actually play?
Oh, wow. Let me see here. I know I can play the guitar. I can play the bass. I used to play the banjo, but I haven't touched it in a long time. Can play the mandolin, play piano, and I think that's 5 or 6.
Wow. That's amazing. So you might whip out a solo at the Crossville Lifestyle Launch Party.
Oh, my goodness.
And you've recorded a lot of albums too, right?
I have. I did a bluegrass gospel album back in 2009. Then I released I decided in 2020 that I needed to start putting out music because everybody was listening to me do jazz. And they're like, do you have any music out? I'm like, yeah, check out Spotify. And it was bluegrass gospel. And they're like, that is not at all what I just heard.
Yeah.
So I started putting out more music in about 2022. I did a live album that I'd recorded. And from there, I'd release like small singles and covers. But I did a Christmas album, like a little EP this year. So I was excited about that. And I'm soon to be releasing a full-length jazz album.
Oh, wow. And we can promote that in Crossville Lifestyle.
We can.
Which will be in the gift guide. Well, your Christmas music is so wonderful. I listened to some of it, and it's beautiful. So definitely go check that out. You might not be in the Christmas spirit now, but next Christmas,
yes,
check it out. Well, that's just fascinating. And then you have several children as well, right?
I feel like the old woman who lived in a shoe.
No, but it is difficult. I mean, even me as a person on the business side of the music industry, it was like, do you want to be in the music industry or do you want a family? Like, it was almost like you had to choose as a woman.
And they do make you feel that way.
Yeah.
And I told somebody today, I was like, I had to take at least 4 hiatuses from music to you lose that relevance to keep gigging, but it was every time I had a child.
Yep.
I had it gets to the point where you just can't gig anymore, and then you have to recover, and then you have to be a mom. Yes.
Yeah. But when you're pregnant.
My husband is also a musician, and so our family is built around that support system. And so when I was gigging a lot more regularly, we would, travel to North Carolina and do a gig, or Virginia, and in the end, we called them playcations. So I would go out and work, and everybody would get to hang out at the hotel pool and chill and whatever. So.
Oh, that's fun. And the kids were along for the ride.
Yes.
When they were a little bit older and not babies.
Right.
Okay.
When they got older, it got a lot easier, but it was also right around the time of COVID, and that was when I kind of stepped back. I didn't have a choice. Mm-hmm. We're sitting on the back porch. I'm looking at all my kids, and at that time, I had maybe a 16, 17-year-old and down to a 1-year-old. Mm-hmm. And I just realized I've kind of missed out on some of this, and I don't want to miss out on it anymore. So I stepped back a little bit from gigging. But once they were teenagers, it was so much easier.
Yes, because you have 4 children, correct?
I do.
4 children, and they range from?
The youngest is 7.
7.
And then I have a 12-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a soon-to-be 23-year-old. And they're all boys.
Oh, wow, I did not realize that.
Yes, it's a frat house.
You poor thing. Mm-hmm. I have one boy, and I feel like I'm going to die
sometimes.
Oh, it's nuts.
It is nuts.
Well, I'm sure you have a big backbone from that. You're definitely ready to tackle this. Goodness. Well, you've been put through it, that's for sure. They say that the boys are harder when they're younger, but easier when they're older. Is that true?
So far it is.
Okay.
I mean, my older two are my best friends.
Aww.
They really are. And they grew up, they're very well-mannered, they're very ambitious, they're outgoing, they're just good kids. My younger two, they're a handful. And I hope that they grow out of it like the other two did.
Yeah.
I can only hope and pray.
Are they all musicians as well?
My older two are not really. My oldest one definitely isn't.
Okay.
But my 20-year-old could croon. I mean, he had such a nice, just warm voice, but he didn't want to pursue that. He was a basketball player and a wrestler, so he was an athlete. But my younger two, they take piano, they take saxophone. One is a worship leader for his middle school, group, and then they both take tap at the Cumberland County Playhouse. So they're very artistically driven, and we support that.
It comes in their blood.
It does.
What can they say? Do you teach them piano?
I don't. I have a friend who graduated from Juilliard, and she teaches. And so when I hear, this person teaches or this person teaches, I'm like, I'm really good friends with this woman, Lourdes Dunaway. And she graduated from Juilliard, and that is where I want my kids to learn.
It's hard for a parent to teach their child.
I cannot teach my kids anything. I don't teach them voice. I can't. They won't listen.
They don't, no matter how good you are. My daughter, I was a dancer in high school, and she's in dance now, and I try to help her with her dance moves because she doesn't stretch her arms out. She keeps her moves real small. She's like, Mom, that's not right. That's not right. I'm like, okay, whatever. She's 7 too,
Right, oh yeah.
That 7-year-old sass.
Yes.
Well, I am so excited for you to take over, or not take over, you're starting it.
Yeah.
So I met you through Blair Dudley, who started Hip Cookeville.
Yes.
And you help him with Hip Cookeville.
I do.
And so how did you and Blair meet?
I honestly don't even remember anymore. I think we added each other on Facebook, and at the time I was finishing up my master's with Berkeley.
Yes.
And he was starting the Firefly Festival.
Okay.
And so he reached out to me and he was like, is there any way you might be able to kind of help with taking submissions and scheduling artists? And so, I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And so, we had a pretty good festival the first year. And then I don't want to say roped into, but he brought me in to do the Hispanic Heritage Festival.
Oh, yeah, he'll rope you right in.
And I was terrified because it was one thing to schedule country or pop or just songwriters. I know nothing about Latin music.
Right.
No, I really don't. And so that was definitely a challenge, and it's turned out to be such a fun challenge. So I've learned a lot just doing the 1 year. The second year was so much better, and following that, he started asking me to book his Hip Cookeville concert series that they have at the Cookeville Performing Arts Center. And so that was fun.
I didn't realize you helped book that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that Hip Cookeville does a concert. They don't realize all the things that Hip Cookeville does, and I try to tell people all the time, but people think it's just a Facebook group. No, they do.
Oh, I know.
So many different events, community events,
Yes.
Concert series at CPAC, so many things. I didn't realize that you helped book that. And then you also, the Hip Cookeville Unplugged series they're doing, the songwriters.
They're doing that. That is predominantly done between Blair and Renice.
Okay,
and
but you
Renice is
perform
amazing.
at it.
I did perform at it. That
you
was
did
fun. I did.
once and maybe again?
Well, I know that she is doing the Songwriters Week.
Okay.
They have those songwriters competitions in January and February to decide who's going to go on to the Bluebird. And she's having a venue available to songwriters. And that will be on January 31st.
Yes.
And she has actually asked me to be one of the judges.
Okay, I'm one of the judges too.
Are you really? Oh my gosh. And my husband's running sound. So,
Perfect.
So we're I love working with Blair. I owe much of every opportunity that has fallen in my lap in the last 5 years to Blair Dudley.
Yes, I love Blair too. I have a lot of people I bounce ideas off in this town and get their opinions before I do something because Lord knows somebody's going to hate every single thing I do.
Of course.
And he's one of them. And I appreciate all his feedback because he knows a lot because it filters through the page.
Yes,
so
it
he
does.
sees everything and he's very involved in the community. So, and I also appreciate him for putting you on my radar. And when, I don't remember if he said to me, you should start a Crossville Lifestyle with Melissa Ellis being the publisher, or Melissa Ellis wants to start a Crossville Lifestyle. I don't remember how that worked.
I don't remember either.
But I'm so glad it
I know
did.
he mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
I know.
And so I just kind of sat waiting by my phone like a high school girl waiting for a guy to call. I was like, is Chelsea ever going to call
And
me?
I think I had already started the wheels turning on the Sparta and Livingston and announced those. So I was overwhelmed with the putting those together because it was just me doing those at the time. And so it took me forever to finally reach out to you. And then, but, you know, we finally touched base. And so I'm so excited for you. And right now, you're in the process of interviewing the people. So you've already announced you're going to do a Movers and Shakers edition for the very first issue, which I'm excited for. For our very first edition of Cookeville, we did a most influential people issue. And it's just a great way to kind of like spread buzz and feature a big group of people that are doing great things in the community.
Yes.
So you're calling it the Movers and Shakers of Crossville.
Yes.
And it's going to come out in April. And you've already started interviewing.
I have. I started back in December.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to follow up and finish up right now so I can move forward with photo shoots and ad sales and all that other fun stuff that goes with it.
People do not understand all the things and all the steps
I
we
know.
have to take. But, you know, back in the day when I had to do all the interviewing and stuff, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
So props to you. But so now comes ad sales. So if you want to be a part of the first edition of Crossville Lifestyle, it's going to be awesome, just like Cookeville is. It'll be everywhere in Crossville. Even if we don't get permission, it's going to be there. I mean, today I walked into Walgreens in Cookeville and there was a rack and I just put all the magazines there and nobody said anything. So
someone's going to appreciate it.
We get it out. We get it out in the community no matter what. So eyeballs will be on it. It will be well worth your while. Our rates are attractive. Trust me. So reach out to Melissa. If you can't find her, you can find me everywhere. Just look at our Facebook pages. You can find us. And look for the magazine to launch very soon.
Yes, I'm very excited.
And follow Crossville Lifestyle on socials. And I'm just so excited for you and grateful that you're willing to take on this.
I'm grateful that you gave me this opportunity. This is fun.
It is so fun. And having a flexible job as a mother and a wife, it is, and a woman, it's hard to come by. And even though there's a lot of pressure in this, it's worth it.
It is. I
It's
can
worth
tell.
it.
I can tell already.
And I think you're going to do great. So I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Be sure to look for Crossville Lifestyle hitting newsstands this April.